Without Remorse is new to Amazon streaming. It stars Michael B. Jordan. He plays John Kelly, a U.S. Navy SEAL whose whole team is being tracked down and assassinated. John manages to take out a few of them, but not before they kill someone very close to him. So he assembles a team of his own to go and take them out. It's not a very original plot. We'll get to that later. But first, let me start by saying I usually try and stay away from movies based on video games. Even though Without Remorse doesn't exactly look like a video game movie, it's actually the setup to Rainbow Six, which isn't that big of a surprise considering it's a Tom Clancy movie. So like I said, I usually try and stay away from these types of movies. They're usually pretty bad, and they do more harm to the franchise than they ever help it out. But I have a soft spot for Tom Clancy games. I've always preferred the Rainbow Six games over the Call of Duties. Rainbow Six Vegas has got to be my favorite first-person shooter of all time. Yeah, I'm that old. I actually played Vegas and Vegas 2 back when playing online was brand new. I also played a lot of Splinter Cell. On a side note, I've been waiting patiently for Ubisoft to get us a new Splinter Cell, but I stopped holding my breath a while ago. And as of right now, I've got close to 1,000 hours on Division 2. So Tom Clancy games, those are my jam. So I figured, even though it's a video game movie, I'd give Without Remorse a chance. Was it worth it? The short answer is no. Now, the movie wasn't all bad. Let me go through the good first. There's plenty of Easter eggs for Tom Clancy fans. The way John and his team infiltrate buildings, it's very Rainbow Six. They use a lot of gadgets, flashbangs and smokes, grenades. They even use C4 to blow holes in walls and breach rooms. They use those night vision goggles from Splinter Cell. There's also one shot in particular that really reminded me of The Division, so I was happy to see that. As far as the gunfighting style and visuals of the movie, there's a lot of fan service that I appreciate. Now on to the bad. First off, the lighting in this whole movie was just awful. I think they were so concerned about making everything visible that they didn't really consider how unrealistic things look when they're so well lit. It's so bad, it's to the point where I can't tell if they filmed on location or in a set, because there's just so much lighting that everything looks like it's indoors. Now that's not to say the sets were awful, it's just the lighting. A lot of the sets were really good. One set that was one of my favorites was after the plane crash, the plane sinking, but at the same time it's twisting, and the visuals inside were amazing. It's just the lighting never seemed right, and quite frankly, it gave it a very made-for-TV look, which isn't surprising considering this is straight to streaming. Now from here on out, I'm going to give you spoilers, but trust me, it won't make any difference when you watch it, because this has got to be one of the most predictable movies I've ever seen. I mean, it doesn't take much of a stretch of the imagination to figure out what's going on in the story at any given point. We get a montage of John's team being tracked down and killed, while at the same time we see John with his wife, and the way they're portrayed is just so perfect. The way they hold each other, their banter, the way he constantly lets her know that he loves her. It's just such an over-the-top, perfect relationship. And I was like, okay, I get it. The wife's going to be killed, and then John Kelly is going to go John Wick for revenge. But this movie plays it out as if it's not completely obvious. So we have to just sit there and wait through this unrealistic fairy tale marriage when we already know how it's going to end. I mean, there's no reason the movie couldn't have just started up with the wife already being killed. It would have saved us a lot of time, and it would have got us to the same conclusion. Anyway, so after his wife is killed, John starts tracking down everyone involved. He manages to take down one person, but he's arrested and sent to jail, where he hangs out until the government comes to pardon him so he can join a team of elite Navy SEALs to take out the rest of the bad guys.
John, if you're done in there, we need you to get back in the field.
Because we've never seen that in a movie before.
There is someone who I think can help us.
His name is John Mason, a British national incarcerated on Alcatraz in 1962.
Welcome to the Rock.
The movie tries to fool us into thinking that one of the team members is a bad guy, but they tried so hard to make this guy seem bad that it was just an obvious misdirection. And the guy who was actually the bad guy in the end, he was obviously going to turn sides. And what is it about action thriller movies where they always have to do this whole thing about friends become enemies, enemies become friends? It's just so unoriginal. Almost every movie like this does something like this, so I'm always expecting it. So rarely does it ever surprise me. I mean, every once in a while there's a movie that it's done well in, but for the most part, it's just predictable and annoying. This movie also had this really stupid, like, end of credits scene where it's revealed that he's going to be a member of this elite team called Rainbow. It was so obvious this was the direction they were going for the entire movie, and they saved it for after the credits. It's almost as if they're trying to copy Marvel at this point. And if you're desperate enough to be copying Marvel, what are you doing? I mean, if you're a director and at any point you think to yourself, oh, this scene reminds me of these dozen other scenes from other movies, you should probably take a step back and do something else, because it's unlikely that you're going to do anything better. And that's what ends up happening to Without Remorse. We see a lot of the same that's not done as well. So really the only people I can recommend this movie to are fans of the Tom Clancy games. There's plenty of little Easter eggs to keep an eye out for that are pretty neat to see, but otherwise the movie doesn't really offer much. And that makes me a little nervous about the upcoming Division movie. That's a game that has a fantastic story and all kinds of lore surrounding it, so I hope they don't screw it up with some watered down, unoriginal plot. But even if they did, I would still watch it.
No remorse.
Cause I'm sucker.
Thanks for watching. My name's Kenny, and until next time, let's not just watch movies, let's talk about them too. I should probably stop watching video game movies, but I won't because I like video games too much.